It is coal rush week, and West Virginia is coming in hot, but are they for real? That's the question I have today for you on this episode of Locked On West Virginia.
You are Locked On West Virginia, your daily podcast on the West Virginia Mountaineers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up? Welcome in, guys. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Locked On West Virginia, where we talk about your team every single day in a good way, right? Episode is also brought to you in part by FanDuel, guys. Get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. All you got to do is place your first $5 bet to get started, guys. Make sure you're doing that. Welcome in. I had a heck of a time yesterday getting started. I just couldn't record. I just couldn't do it. I had to go take my computer to a repair shop. That's how bad it was. Chrome went crazy on me. And unfortunately for me, I couldn't record. My microphone wasn't being recognized. My headphones weren't working. My camera wasn't working. So it was the trifecta. And I was so freaking upset over it. But that's okay because we're on to bigger and better, guys. And I got a couple questions. I put Neil and Jordan Leslie on this thumbnail because I want to know, are they the real deal? Is the defense actually fixed? I mean, look, we know it looked really good at times, even against Kansas. You hold a kid like Jalen Daniels to 180 yards, you feel pretty good about that. And then you hold a guy that shredded you last year. Go watch last year's Oklahoma State game. Alan Bowman shredded West Virginia with arguably a better secondary, right? You could make that argument. Not a better defensive line. TJ Jackson, the impact he's made is just can't be understated. And then Tyron Bradley has really taken the momentum from North Carolina, the one-handed interception. He set the edge in that game so dang well and really vaulted himself into an all Big 12 type of year this year off the edge for the Mountaineers. And even Tyron Bradley not Tyron Bradley, but number 47 that transferred in from Abilene Christian is also starting to make some plays. We thought it was going to be we thought he was going to be our best pass rusher, and that just hasn't been the case as of yet. So we're waiting, but when's it going to happen? Don't know. So look, you look at the ranking of the quarterback that West Virginia's played, and coming into the week, I think Jalen Daniels was ranked 10th, something like that last week. And I believe Bowman was ranked 8th. So quarterbacks have been great, but they were great last year. And I look at that and I'm like, why? Not even Garrett played like he has last year yet. Yesterday was the first semblance of that. You saw a deep ball, and you saw a bunch of running around. You saw the ad lib. You saw the pump fakes, everything going on. So even Garrett's really kind of taken that much time to get together. Part of that is people base a lot of help off of last year's film in the beginning, and a lot of times teams run what was working for them the year prior. In West Virginia's case, I'm sure that was true, and so there was film out on Garrett Green and what he did poorly, and teams tried to make him do that. And then also West Virginia was running some stuff, so similar stuff. So, one thing about West Virginia is you follow the tight ends, and that's 90% of the time they're going away from the tight end or towards them, because they use them in misdirection a lot. They use them to block and seal edges a lot. And so if you can beat our tight ends in a lot of cases, you can defeat our running game. So I think that's been an adjustment, and Traylon Davis has really been elite, like ELITE, elite so far. So WV getting better, national ranking 45. That might be the best under the Neil Brown era. What are you talking about, David? What's got a 95 or a 45? I'm sorry. national ranking because we were ranked 26th to end last year or to start this year. I can't remember. I think it might have been both. So my question for you guys is this defense for real? Because I believe the offense is for real. I think we've got a top 4 offense in the Big 12 right there with any of the other really good offenses in the Big 12. When you look at who is good in the Big 12 on offense, you look at Arizona, you look at K-State at times, and you look at Iowa State, who's really good on offense, right? And then you look at West Virginia. I think they're right there in that discussion. What Iowa State does really well is a lot the similar things that West Virginia does well. So I think we're seeing 2 similar teams. I'll be interested to see how this game plays out. So I think this defense might be able to cause a little bit of havoc in this game. I really think there's a shot. And why do I think it? It's because Brock Purdy is a scramble to throw guy. Not necessarily, he will scramble, he'll get out and run, but he really keeps his eyes downfield. And so if we can get any semblance of a pass rush, I think we might be able to steal a couple possessions and get them off the field, get them way behind the chains. The thing that bothers me the most probably is our depth on our zone drops has been criticized this year for good reason. And teams, you saw Alan Bowman fit in a couple behind the linebackers and in front of the safeties and beside the corners, right? Last week, even Bowman did. I think one got called back and another one just got fit in there. And then one was on Israel Boyce that I don't count. But that's been where you've been able to get us this year and over the top, beating us in man coverage. I think, in this situation, what Iowa State does well is they use the tight end. They put him in the slot, number 18. He moves around a ton. He reminds me of Charlie Kohler a lot. And what he does is what happens is they'll flex him out and find a mismatch. They'll figure out a way to get 18 or 8, whichever, it's either 18 or 8, a corner on him. And he just out physicals and out bullies that guy to the ball. So it's going to be interesting to see. But I guess to answer my own question, I don't think it's fixed, but I don't think it's any longer broken either like it was. I think it's on the mend. This week, obviously, we'll answer our question. I think, we're going to give up. Listen, we're not going to stonewall Iowa State. If we do, then I'll come on here and eat crow. But I don't think – you've got to think to win this football game, you've got to keep them probably 25 or under-ish, something like that. I'm not a professional bettor, but when I'm looking at this the way this is, they're really good on defense too. And Heacock has been playing that 3-3-5 defense for a long time over there and really perfected it. Even though we ran a bunch of different versions. We ran our 3-3-5 stack defense. Theirs is a little bit different. So I think if we can run the ball on them because of the way they play their 3-3-5, that's how we win this football game. The thing is they do the same thing with the same kind of players. You look at Abu Sama. He was supposed to be the guy coming into this year, and he's not. The kid Jackson is almost a Jaheim White clone. If you haven't seen number 28 for Iowa State, go turn on some tape because he is a machine back there. Let me see if I can find something of him really quick just to give you guys an example of that's just an incredible talent that he is. He's a scary, scary back. He's okay. You know what? I don't even have to really show you. The kid from Pitt, Reed, that's what he's like. He's literally that dangerous. So let's see. Jalen Jackson, Iowa State. I think that's his name, Jalen Jackson. Can't remember. Let's see. Yeah, here's something. Okay, let me share this with you guys. All right. Here, I'm gonna pause it.
That's just the mental.
Let me pause that, and then you can see for yourselves here what I'm talking about. So pistol, look, they've got the motion. They got two tight ends or a fullback, H-back, whatever you want to call him, and a tight end in motion. And you see they do a lot of the same stuff we do. But watch Jackson here. Sometimes numbers get a little I get messed up on numbers. So obviously, look, you got a guy in the backfield here. It's not like this was supposed to be a successful running play. This kid is he makes the first guy miss, though, and they stayed on their blocks. But like you see, this is a muddy backfield. Now, and look, you got a guy in the hole. It doesn't matter.
Oh, wow.
Look at this guy. He's already on the ground. He's beat. So he beats that guy. He beats this guy. And then look at the move he puts on the safety right here. It really reminds me of Tavon Austin a little bit. Boom. Look at this guy. He's looking the other direction. He want to talk about getting turned around. I mean, that's pretty crazy. Let's watch it all the way through and get this volume back off again before I get copyright hit. This kid's going to be a problem to deal with, and he wasn't even supposed to be their number one guy going into the year. So, Tyler Cobb, I genuinely am not worried about Saturday. They have let some pretty bad offensive score a decent amount of points. We are averaging more than 30. Nighttime in Morgantown is just different. It is, but I have got so many bad memories of nighttime in Morgantown. It is different, but it's also been really bad for us. If you think about Pitt, if you think about Kansas State, like there have been some really bad performances at night in Morgantown. And look, it's not like Iowa State didn't go to Iowa. Did they play that game at Iowa? Can anybody remember? But, I mean, look, this same Iowa State team played a bunch of good schools last year too. Let's look at their schedule. And then I got to go to break. Okay, so let's see more. All right. I know it hasn't been the greatest schedule, obviously. They played North Dakota, beat them 21-3. That's an impressive win, right? And then they went to Iowa, guys. They went to Iowa and won a game. So I feel like that's impressive. It's more impressive than any win we have right now. Now, you can say that Baylor put 21 up on them, but Houston put 0 up on them, guys. Arkansas State put 7. Iowa put up 19. I don't know who you're talking about that put up a lot of points on them, Bubby. Like Baylor put up 21 of them, but one of those was in garbage time. So when you're looking at this, they've given up 0 to a pretty good Houston team on offense. 21, but one of those was in garbage time. So basically 14. It was like 43-14 at Baylor, who really pushed a good team last week. Arkansas State, they got some skill guys, 52-7. They held Iowa, a Big Ten team, to 19. North Dakota, who has a lot of good players on their football team, held them to 3. So I think this defense is a lot better than we're giving credit. Well, what do you mean Houston's not good on offense? They've got skill talent. They got the same offense that beat us last year. So, all right. So they just beat TCU 30 to let's see. I mean, they've had some bad games this year. I don't really understand it, to be honest. Like, they scored 33 on Rice. They scored 30 on TCU, who hasn't been very good, I'll admit. What's the other teams they played? UNLV. Yeah, you're right. They have been subpar on offense for sure. I mean, you're right. But I'm not going to say you're wrong about that one as much. But still, it's a Big 12 school. I don't know. To me, and it's not the only good defensive performance they've had. You kind of made it sound like they had scored or they had let a bunch of teams score points on them, though. That's also not really true either, So while you're right about Houston being bad, I'll just say this. Iowa State's held everybody to pretty much nothing. So they can only play who's on their schedule. So, but I got to go to break, guys. When I come back, we'll continue this. We're going to continue talking about the Iowa State powerhouse and can Neil do what he's never done before. That's in segment 3. Stick around. We'll argue about it, Tyler, on this episode of Locked On West Virginia. This episode of Locked On West Virginia is brought to you by Return on You. All right, Locked On West Virginia fans, it's time for the Return on You Player of the Week. That's right. The Return on You app lets you directly support your favorite athletes. And unlike collectives where you make a donation to a general fund, Return on You lets you choose the specific athletes you want to support. You back the players you care about. And in return, you get exclusive content after the season, like personal videos and updates. The best part is it's risk-free. If the athlete transfers or doesn't create the content, you get your money back. It's guaranteed. This week, I'm going to choose Garrett Green, and I almost went a different direction, but I'm going to choose Garrett Green for this one, contributing $100 to his campaign on Return on You. And I want you to join me by making a payment of as little as $10. When enough of us contribute, it's not just about the dollars, it's about the message we send to any of the players on the team. But this week, it's going to be Garrett Green together. Our collective support helps him connect to our school. Plus, Return on You is doing their part by bringing friends closer to their schools and athletes with an exciting giveaway. Return on You is giving away one lucky fan 2 tickets to any game of their choice in November. Here's how to enter. Download the Return on You app in the App Store on Google Play. Use the code LOCKEDON when signing up, and you've entered. Already on Return on You, well, just go ahead and make a payment to any athlete's campaign, and you'll automatically be entered. No purchase is necessary, and please void where prohibited. Go to joinreturnonyou.com. That's joinroy.com for official rules. Download Roy and try it out. There's no subscription, recurring fees, and for as little as $10, you can get the NL game. Return on You. Support the players. Change the game. All right, guys. Thank you for joining this episode of Locked On West Virginia. Iowa State's a good football team. Now, are they as good as top 10 in the country? I think we'll all stand to find out. It reminds me a lot of – so what's pretty cool is 5 years ago, a ranked West Virginia team went to Iowa State and played an Iowa State team at night that wore all black and got beat. 5 years later, the West Virginia Mountaineers bring an undefeated Iowa State team to Morgantown, and they're going to wear black. Can we repeat history in Morgantown? I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be great. I'm looking for an Iowa State contributor to come on the show. But tomorrow, even better, we're going to be talking to Matt Wells. You guys know who Matt Wells is? He is, let me get his official title really quick off of X so we can read it out loud. He's been, and you probably noticed him. That's funny. He's right there on the very top of my timeline. He's got a new profile pic in black. All right, so he is the Deputy Athletics Director for External Affairs at West Virginia. He came up with the Coal Rush, the logo, all kinds of different stuff. So, and he is basically the driving force behind it. So we're going to really be glad to have him on. He's also going to be talking about, the jerseys that are on for sale that some people are upset about, that they haven't gotten. He's going to explain that situation. He's also going to talk about the Coal Rush theme in general. So please join me tomorrow. Is tomorrow Wednesday? Yeah, tomorrow Wednesday at 2:00. If you want to go live, we can. I'm going to talk to Matt about it. We may do it live so that he can answer questions in real time, but we may have to pre-record it and put it out the same day. I'll let you guys know in a post tomorrow. I'll post it on YouTube. Also, I'll post it on X. So Day Farmer, I've seen some people talking about Day Farmer in the chat, and I think it's definitely something I would love to see. You saw what he looked like in the open field last week when he got the one touch on the end around. And I think, Neil lost a lot of confidence in him, Tyler, when he dropped the touchdown pass. Do you remember that? He dropped a wide open touchdown pass that hit him right in the hands. just a guess. I think that maybe they lost a little confidence in him when that happened, which is unfortunate but true. So we'll see if he works his way back into there. We need him to show up and show out because if Neil, let's say we win another 8 or 9 this year, Neil's not going anywhere, and we need a guy like Day Farmer to develop and get better. So that's just my opinion. Uh, Going back to Iowa State, though, really quick, I wanted to look at their roster real quick and look at a couple things. So obviously, the Baylor game stands out as a good offensive performance for them. You're right, though. They haven't been great on offense, but they do have 2 NFL receivers. Most people consider to be NFL receivers. So I'm going to look at that one just because probably everybody got something in that game. So Rocco Beck was 16 and 25 for 277, 2 touchdowns and a pick in that game. Jalen Jackson had 107 carries, 2 touchdowns on 15 carries. Jaden Higgins is wide receiver number 1 there. He's a beast. He really is. They've got more than just him, though. They go super deep at the receiving spot. When you look at who all they can throw it to, it's basically Higgins and Noel, Brahmer, Tyler Moore. Benjamin Brahmer is the tight end that I'm talking about, number 18. So I'm going to click on his profile real quick. So he was a freshman All-American last year. I did not know that. But listen, when you look at him on the field, he's extreme. He's better than Cole Taylor to me by the eye test. That's how good he is. He's just a little bit faster. He's today's kind of tight end like that Travis Kelce type of tight end that really flexes out, runs all the routes. As to where Cole is a little bit more of both. Like Cole runs like 1 or 2 routes pretty well, and he's so tall and big. Not that Cole is an all Big 12 caliber player. It's just this Ben Brahmer kid is elite. He'll be an NFL player. They're really good at recruiting tight ends there, like Kohler. And this offense looks a lot like the one they ran with before, with the 49ers starting quarterback. So I think it's going to be fun. It's definitely going to be fun. I think Day is going to play. He probably doesn't know his responsibilities in offense like White had to wait a few games like last year. I think that's a good point. But man, do we need him? And we've got other guys that I haven't heard from that we were expecting to. So hopefully we do this week or sometime soon because we got to start developing those younger guys, right? Heck, last week, man, last year we played freshman receivers for the entirety of the year, really. And once you look after the first, 3 games, Cortez Bram and Jeremiah Aaron were out, literally off the team. And guys like Preston Fox and Hunter Clement had to come and be what they became. So I'll tell you who I would love to see guys more of as much as anybody else. That's Justin Robinson. He had the one-handed catch. He's 6'4", 240 pounds, and he's a downfield threat. I just don't know why we haven't had him in a little bit more, but I would love to see it. Obino Nwuka is, I think, going to redshirt, but don't quote me on that. I have seen stuff like that. So, okay, passing offense and rushing defense out of the next couple teams we play. Iowa State is 56th in passing offense and 67th in rushing defense out of 134 teams. So it's not like it's insurmountable, right? I think they're a good passing team. They're an elite running team. They're probably in the top 15 in rushing. I would have to go look, but if I had to guess, I would say that's probably the truth. So, and when looking at their schedule, I mean, they basically struggled at Iowa a little. I mean, that was a struggle for them. At times they struggled against North Dakota, right? So they've looked beatable this year. That was in game one, though. So Iowa State has really had trouble. Well, I'm looking at some numbers here, and it looks like they've had a lot of red zone trouble this year. So John Waffles trolled in the chat. Thanks, John. He said every West Virginia win helps Pitt's resume keep winning hoopies. You guys go down this week, John, by prediction. Thank you for everybody listening on X. Thank you for those that are listening on YouTube or watching on X and YouTube and listening via podcast. Locked on West Virginia. We'll be right back, guys. We're going to talk about, can Neal do what he's never done? We know what that is. And can he do it? Can Neal finally do it? We talk about that next on Locked on West Virginia. This episode of Locked on West Virginia is also brought to you by FanDuel. Hey, NFL fans, you can start the season with a big return on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. When you get a hunch in the middle of the game, check out the latest stats, view the live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page you place your bets. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. And as always, that's at FanDuel.com. And let's check out on FanDuel right now. See what the spread is on this game. West Virginia, Iowa State. It was at 3 points to start out, so it'll be interesting to see exactly where it is headed. Looking like, let's see, it's making me sign in, of course. Okay, come on. All right, so it's still 3 points, so it hasn't moved really much at all. I think it might have came down a point even. So West Virginia continues to stay within true striking distance, and the fact that West Virginia is only a 3-point dog in this game at home should tell you something. Think about that before you bet any money. And thank you to FanDuel. All right, guys. Thank you guys for joining me, like I said, on this episode of Locked on West Virginia. It's been fun. I was so upset I couldn't record yesterday. It was truly an aggravating thing for me. You've got a Cal team heading to Pitt that has looked really good this year at times. I mean, they've been salty. I think this is going to be a big test for Pitt. Cal's one of the better 3-2 teams in the country. They played tough with everybody they've played, especially the Miami game comes to mind, obviously, because it's fresh. They came into that game with like a top 20 defense, but Miami shredded them. I don't think, I think Miami's offense is a step above Pitt's. But certainly if Pitt keeps winning, it looks good for us too, right? Because we were up 10 with 5 minutes to go in that game. Most people would say we come out of that with a better team. I think we were the better team. Our quarterback didn't get sacked at all by a pass rush. If he did, it was because he got out of the pocket and maybe got tripped up somewhere along the lines. But they didn't get any pressure on GG, and we definitely destroyed Holstein in the pocket. He made all the plays, though. So, that was one reason. And then the other reason was just the score. But at the end of the day, they did what they had to do, came back and won the game in the last 2 drives. We did it against Kansas. So fair is fair. Pitt won the football game. But it's going to look good if they continue to win. Like I said all week leading up to Kansas State or to Oklahoma State, and now I'll say it again against Iowa State. West Virginia's 3-2, and the teams that have beaten them are 10-0. So West Virginia has lost to a pair of 5-0 teams. It's not like we've lost to a 2-3 team or even a 3-2 team. We've lost to 2 5-0 teams that have all beaten Power 5 teams and beaten some schools handily. Penn State, obviously elite, the best team in our area, in our region, uh, by a pretty broad stroke. They're just so tough on defense. And then Pitt, who is an elite offensive team, really a lot like the teams we had under Dana and Will Greer. I think that's what you compare them to. If you're going to make a comparison, I think they're that good on offense. So they've proven themselves. I will say that. That said, talking about can Neil do what Neil's never done? You guys, first of all, how many games in a row has West Virginia won? Can anybody tell me? So we're on Iowa State. That means Kansas, Oklahoma State, and now Iowa State would be 3. We're getting up there to possibly towards his longest streak ever already. We win this game. He finally did that last year. He won 3 games in a row, but he's never won 4 in a row. And another thing he's never done is this would be the highest ranked team he's beaten at West Virginia, correct? I don't think he's even come anywhere near 11. Maybe he did beat a top 20 team. Somebody let me know because I can't remember. But as far as I know, the highest ranked West Virginia team West Virginia's beat was maybe the Oklahoma State team. I'm not really sure. But if West Virginia win this football game, the thing that Neil's going to do that he's never done is rank West Virginia. West Virginia has never been ranked in the AP poll under Neil Brown, which is absolutely sad. It's probably, if it's not the longest we've gone, it's right there with the longest. It's got to be tied for the longest we've ever gone without being ranked. I can't remember a time since I've been alive we've gone this long. So I know that. So, I mean, I started watching West Virginia football mid-90s. So, I can't remember a time we've gone this long without being ranked. Maybe during the obviously I was younger. I was like teenager during the Ohio State game and all that. So the Marshall game. So I don't have a great memory of it all, but I'm pretty sure this is the longest or right there with it. Maybe you go back to the 70s and find some stuff, but I'm talking about recent history. Tyler says, this is something I'm curious about. If we win Saturday, we ranked on Sunday. Pitt and Penn State are 2 losses and would still likely be undefeated, be poured 2 in the top 15 win. Yeah, that's what I was getting to. I think we would be. I would be surprised if we weren't. A lot of it's going to depend on the game, too. Obviously, if we win this thing 9-6 and look horrible doing it, then probably not. But as long as the game looks, as long as we look okay doing it, or even like last week, really good, absolutely. It would be great to blow them out. Don't get me wrong. I would love every second of that, but I don't see it happening. We'll see. We've had Iowa State's number mostly, so since we've been in the Big 12. So let me know in the comments below, guys, as you like the video before you leave. Don't forget to subscribe. Justin Robinson has been injured. I understand he may be ready this week. I didn't hear that, Don, but thanks for letting me know. And I follow the team like every second of the day, and I just somehow haven't heard that. I'm not saying you're lying. I'm just haven't heard anybody say it. I thought I saw him dressed for last week's game, but maybe he didn't. It'd be nice to get him involved. He's so big. He'd be such a weapon for us. Anyway, especially with Garrett throwing downfield. But I like West Virginia this week, guys. I'm going to do a pick probably tomorrow or the day after. Not sure yet. I'm trying to figure out who's going to come on. May have to do my own pre-show on this one. We'll find out. Maybe I'll have Kurtz or somebody come on that knows more about Iowa State. But I enjoyed doing this episode, guys. I'm glad my microphone's back working again. God, it sucked without that for a couple of the games. So hey, I hate that I'm pumped up for this game. Just don't want to be hurt again by WVU. Yeah, I feel the same. Well, it's what they do best to us, right? Hope you like the video, guys. Like I said, please don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to Locked On West Virginia if you don't mind. And I'll be back tomorrow with more. I got to record twice tomorrow because I messed up the last couple of days with my computer. So I got to make up for some stuff. So I'll be putting some content out. The Super League is something I want to talk about as well. All 70, there may be 70 teams that are going to be saved. We'll get to that. Tomorrow, I'm interviewing Matt Wells from WVU, guys, the deputy athletic director of basically anything external. So that'll be fun. We can talk about jerseys and coal rush and all that. All right, guys, I'm going to jump off here. I got to do a Locked On video here with the whole crew. If you've seen any of those games where we do the Locked On Big 12 Roundtable. So I'll talk to you guys later. Enjoy your night, and I'm out.